Hey, what up everyone? I'm Sinnycool and this is Gems of War. And today I'm going to be going over the top 20 ultra rare troops in the game as of, it's almost October, end of September 2025. Been running through these on the chatathons lately. Did the top 20 mythics, did the top 20 legendaries, did the top 20 epics. Go check those videos out. I'll link one at the end of this one. But top 20 ultra rares now. This one was one of the hardest ones. I think it is the hardest one I've done so far. Mythics was easy. Legendaries pretty easy. Epics was hard. This one was even harder than the epics. Like, you might not agree at all. I think the first few everybody's going to agree with, but then as we get into like number 6 through 20, you could disagree. But there's not like that many off the list that should be on the list. It's just like the order that you put them in. So where this will help you is just knowing which ultra rares are worth chasing after and using on your teams. So here we go. We're going to start with number 1. Number 1 is Leprechaun. Leprechaun used so much throughout the game. Empowered Exploder gets teams going very quickly. You can't beat it. Everybody uses it all the time, everywhere throughout the game, and has to get number 1. Explodes a bunch of green gems, boosted by my gold, gain 20 gold, starts battles with full mana. It's basically the empowered explode, is why most people use it in the last slot on many teams, from beginning of the game to the end of the game. Number 2, we got Angry Mob. Really strong ultra rare. It's probably stronger than some legendaries out there, maybe some horrible mythics out there. It destroys a bunch of random gems, +1 of your magic, and burns a random enemy, then either summons an angry mob or deals damage to the first enemy. So really good mana generator, summoner, damage dealer. It just does everything. Does a lot of stuff for a low mana cost. A really good troop there. Number 2. Number 3 is Egg Thief. You probably won't see it too much these days, but I still feel it's one of the strongest ultra rares out there. It destroys 28 random gems boosted by my gold, gain 10 gold, and summon dragon eggs. So similar to the Angry Mob. The Angry Mob is kind of just the souped up version of Egg Thief. This one mana generates, summons, it just doesn't do damage. But it has a little bit better traits maybe than the Angry Mob, so it makes up for it there. But that was what I had in number 3. 4th best ultra rare in the game, we got Goblin Rocket. Best Goblin that's not epic and up. Explodes a gem, deals light splash damage to an enemy, and gains an extra turn. Kind of a theme with these, the last 3, is that they just do a lot of stuff for a very low mana cost. It's going to explode a gem, so that's 9 gems in total, right? And you can then use that for board control, or to target a heroic gem, or to get an extra turn, or to set up your next move because you get an extra turn. You know, you could set up an extra turn, is what I mean. You're going to get an extra turn no matter what, but you could, like, just explode a certain gem. That way you get an extra turn, and then you set up another extra turn. Well, all the while doing damage and getting some of its mana back, most likely. Gain bonus red from red gem matches, just a really good ultra rare. If you think this list is crazy, go look at all the ultra rares yourself and do your own top 20, and I guarantee you'll have trouble. Alright, number 5, we got Spirit Fox. Mostly for defensive purposes and guild wars. I mean, you will use it on offense for defensive purposes, pretty much. But that's about it. It's kind of like the Grey King of the ultra rares. The Grey King mostly used for PvP and guild wars. It's strong, but you're not going to use it everywhere in the game. Same thing with this. You're not going to use it everywhere in the game, but it's when you need it, it does its thing, and it does it good. So it's empowered. It's stealthy. It drains 7 mana from an enemy. Remove all yellow gems. Deal true damage boosted by gems removed. Imagine you're fighting like a all-yellow team in Guild Wars, and you can immediately, you're empowered, you can immediately drain one of their empowered troops and remove all the yellow gems off the board. Like, that would be a really good start. So, good troop even when the team's not yellow. Alright, Herdmaster ended up coming in number 6 here. Just wasn't anything too crazy. Like, Herdmaster, low mana cost, explode a bunch of yellow, cleanse all allies, gain bonus yellow from yellow gem matches, 25% chance to summon a Centaur Scout on death. I find myself using it mostly when there's a Divinian Fields restriction or Centaur restriction. It's not something I bust out when I can use everything in the game. But yeah, yellow, purple, yellow. If you need yellow, mana generation, I guess. All right, Onyx Gargoyle came in 7th. Good damage dealer. Deal splash damage to an enemy, then create 1 to 2 random gargoyle gems. And then it has good traits too. 50% skull reduction, 25% spell reduction. It's not as good as Gargoyle, but it's also, Gargoyle is epic, and this thing is ultra rare. So it's like the Temu version of Gargoyle. But still a Gargoyle, and still doing Gargoyle things, so good. Drake Rider, surprisingly for me, came in 8th. I just think it's got a lot going on for it. For an 11 mana cost, convert all yellow gems to red. Just got to have something red on your team with it. Maybe Angry Mob. Deal splash damage to an enemy, boosted by gems converted. So that's not it. It has Loyal Mount, 100% chance to summon a Drake on death. So to me, this feels like 2 troops for the price of 1. Unless it gets stunned. So if you can prevent it from getting stunned, which doesn't always happen, that's not, like, it's going to summon this thing most of the time. And you've seen it on defense. You kill it, and then here comes the freaking Drake. So it's 2 cards in 1, 2 whole durabilities in 1. So if you have this on your team, you essentially have 5 troops instead of 4. Alright, number 9. This is where I really like, you could put one of these up where Drake Rider is. It gets complicated starting right about here. These are all just, you could put all these in a different order and I probably wouldn't argue with you. Alright, we got High Paladin at number 9. Deal damage to the 2 strongest enemies boosted by my armor. Okay, so armor is like the easiest stat to boost up. You're hitting multiple enemies. It's got 40% skull reduction. White Helm, Divine, Knight, White Helm or Knight. When you're lower level, you might use the High Paladin. When you're higher level, you're going to use stuff like Commander Dawnheart or Guard's Avatar, Sir Quentin Hadley. But when you're lower level, you're going to use High Paladin and stuff like that. And it's still pretty good. Bang for its buck for 12 mana cost. Tacet Warrior is like a Temu Rowan, so when you don't know what to do, when it's like a brown restriction, and you want to try to do something similar to what you've been doing with your Rowan team, you could do Tacet Warrior. Gives armor to an ally, then deals scatter damage equal to the ally's armor. So normally you'll do that on your hero. Your hero usually has the most armor on your team, so you'll cast this on your hero, and then you'll deal scatter damage equal to the ally's armor. So the higher you can get your hero's armor, the more damage this is going to do. And then like the more enemies that die, the more concentrated the scatter damage will do. I don't think you'll be like super impressed with it like right out the box, but as a fight goes, it really starts to shine. Sand Runner, it comes in, what would that be, 11th? So just outside the top 10, Sand Runner. Deals damage to the first and last enemies, then deals double damage to a random enemy. So it hits 3 enemies, and it starts with 75% mana. So it's pretty close to, like, Atlanta. It's very close to being like Atlanta, but, doesn't hit all the enemies, probably doesn't hit quite as hard, but it's an ultra rare, and just maybe you don't ever think about using Sand Runner, but 75% start, hitting 3 enemies. That could be very good in certain things if you use double Sand Runner, for example, with a mana generating weapon and Leprechaun or something like that. Alright, Dragonian Monk. Maybe this one should be up higher. It's pretty good. Maybe above Tacet Warrior or High Paladin. Maybe it should be at the top of this list. I don't know. I was going to go back through them and resort them and change them, but I feel like we might as well leave it the way that we decided on the chatathon. I had people in the chat to put in their input. If I put something crazy on the list, they could have took it off. If I left something off the list that's crazy, they could have put it on. We did polls. So this is the order we ended up with. But Dragonian Monk, destroy gems in an X shape. Barrier a random ally for every yellow gem destroyed. So it's just a good troop to keep yourself alive. It's kind of like Dawnbringer with it being able to barrier your whole team. And it starts with 50% mana. And does a little bit of mana generation. It's really hard to have any kind of board control with destroying gems in an X shape, but it still generates a little bit of mana, and you're going to want to hit as much yellow as possible. It uses yellow, 50% start, and barrier your whole team. Alright, we're on number 13 right now. The 13th best ultra rare in the game is Satyr Musician. Satyr Musician. Deal damage to the first 2 enemies, then steal 2 magic and silence them. So look for a troop that is doing a lot of stuff. That's when you can normally... Is a troop good or not? Is it doing a bunch of stuff? Or does it have like or does it have like it does one thing and then maybe does something else if something else happens? Usually those suck. But something that's gonna do some like 3 things every single time you cast it and it has good traits too. That's usually a good ultra rare troop, you know? Deals damage to the first 2 enemies. That's already doing 2 things. Then it steals 2 magic. That's 3 things, maybe even 4, and then it silences them. You can consider that it doing 6 things. It's doing damage to 2 enemies, it's stealing magic from 2 enemies, and it's silencing 2 enemies. So, pretty good, strong troop that could help you win some fights as well. Night Coronet, oldie but a goodie. Remove all purple gems, deal damage to the first enemy, boosted by gems removed, then deal the same to the last enemy. So it's hitting the last slot and the first slot, which isn't, you know, back in the day, like these days, not a lot of troops do that, so it might take your enemy by surprise. It has a boost ratio, which is good, so the more purple that's on the board, the harder that it's going to hit. And then it has 50% skull reduction, and it can gain 3 to all skills if in first position, so it'd be a good tank. It's a good tank, and it's a good damage dealer. So Night Coronet comes in at number 14 on the ultra rares. Deep Huntsman, this is one I had off the list, and then I decided to bring it onto the list. So my first look through of all the ultra rares, this one did not make it, but then as I went back through them, I'm like, man, once again, this is like 2 troops in 1. This is like having 5 troops on your team. I really like it. So Deep Huntsman did make the list eventually. It explodes 52 green or purple gems, then curse and web the first enemy. It has a 100% chance to summon a tomb spider on death. So I like that. I like the 100% chance to summon when you die. Feels like you have 2 troops in 1 or 5 troops instead of 4. And it's a good mana generator. Curse and web the first enemy is going to screw up the enemy team. And then just, you know, the tomb spider is pretty good too. So I think tomb spider is better than Drake. Deep Huntsman, I don't know that it's better than Drake Rider, but I don't know. Just one I left off and I had to include. I think it's really good. Ultra rare. Alright, so with the mythics and the legendaries, there's a lot of damage dealers and cool troops like that. With the ultra rares and epics, you're going to find that there's a lot of mana generators. So you have to put these empowered converters on the list because they're going to get used, and you don't want to not have them if you need them. So it starts with full mana, 25% skull reduction, Moon Singer, convert purple gems to green, Hunter's Mark the first enemy. So it doesn't just convert purple gems to green, it also Hunter's Marks the first enemy. It starts battles with full mana, 25% skull, but you notice it's not at the top of the list or anything. It's in number 16. Alright, here we go with the final 4 of the list. We got Lasher. Lasher was a big-time debate. It was probably the one we debated on the most, whether or not it should be on the list, whether or not it should be in honorable mentions, whether or not it should be off the list. But eventually decided that it would be number 17 on the list. It's an elemental monster, so you could 50% start it. It deals damage to 6 random enemies. It gains bonus brown mana from brown gem matches and reduces damage from skulls by 50%. I think if it didn't have those 2 traits, it would not make the list. If it wasn't elemental, it probably would not make the list. If it only did 6 damage to 6 random enemies, it would be more like a Mamba Sierra or something like that, which I did not put on my top 20 mythics. But, you know, at this low of a level to do that much damage is pretty cool. And then bonus brown and 50% skull reduction, and you could start it with 50% start. And if you do 2 of them, it's kind of similar to the Sand Runner, where you might want to do 2 Lashers. That way you're hitting 12 times with 2 troops. I mean, that sounds good, right? Hit 12 times with 2 troops. So it's not like a super hard hit, but just the amount, it's like a machine gun. Alright, Qatari Warrior, this was another one that super was off the list, and then I decided to put it on the list, kind of like Deep Huntsman. It could backfire, that's why it's not super high up on the list, but when it does its thing, it does pretty good. So it deals damage to an enemy, move myself to the front, they create 3 times 2 wild cards. So it could hit an enemy and then get all of its mana back, or fill something else up on the team, or get an extra turn. It has 20% chance to dodge skull damage, 50% start, and 20% chance or 20% skull mitigation. So all 3 traits are good. That kind of saves it from not being in the top 20. I think those traits right there really save it and make it a decent card. 12 mana cost, Raksha Centaur. Every trait is good. You know, I don't like single target damage, but I do like the chance to get an extra turn there, and then all the good traits too. Drowned Sailor is the other empowered converter. I put it in 19th slot here, 19th place. Starts battles with full mana. Converts yellow gems to blue. There's a 20% chance to deathmark the last 2 enemies, boosted by gems converted. Pretty much just a empowered converter with the chance to do something else once again. Yellow to blue. Alright, the last one. This one made it in the 20th slot. I think it's kind of like our like Hall of Fame, like oldie but a goodie. Like when I put I don't know, Yao Gui on the top 20 legendaries. You know, it's just like we got to shout out to it. We got to give it its flowers. Sunbird. Elemental Beast. Deal scatter damage, boosted by my life, die, and rise from the ashes. So you see a theme here. Almost every troop that will, you know, count as multiple troops on your team. So Drake Rider and Deep Huntsman, and essentially Sunbird is doing the same thing. When you cast it, it dies and rises from the ashes. So if it has taken any kind of damage and then you cast it, it gets all of its durability back. And then it gets damaged again, you cast it, it comes back to life again. You cast it, you know, they hit you again, you cast it, it comes back to life again. So you could just keep resurrecting and keep regaining HP and armor, and it's pretty cool. So it hits all enemies, and then it can keep coming back and coming back and coming back. So I like that. Put it in 20th, though. Honorable mentions. So these were ones that did not make the list, but were in discussion to be on the top 20. If you see, go through your ultra rares and please put it in the comments. You know, subscribe while you're at it, might as well. But put which ones you think should have made the list, or if I'm crazy, or any kind of you know, what you think in the comments. Honorable mentions. We got Stone Viper. I think this troop is pretty underrated. It was on my top 20, and eventually I bumped it down to the very top of the honorable mentions. But it's a brown troop, a beast construct. It creates 5 yellow gems, then converts all yellow gems to brown. So it could like loop-de-loop brown all over your team. It could poop brown all over your team. 75% start, 50% skull reduction, poison enemies when doing skull damage. Just a solid ultra rare. We're not talking about epics or legendaries or mythics here. We're talking about ultra rares. So it's pretty strong for an ultra rare. Hobgoblins. We had to put some goblins on here. These were up higher, and eventually they got lowered to honorable mentions. But Hobgoblin is a pretty good goblin. If you're early game and you happen to get Hobgoblin, you should probably put it on your goblin team. It's a good one. It deals damage to an enemy and a random enemy and gains an extra turn. So hits multiple enemies and then gets an extra turn. 20% chance to dodge skull damage, too. Rogueling, I think, is just like a Hobgoblin, but different color and not as good. So it's under Hobgoblin, but still on here. It deals damage to 2 random enemies, boosted by green allies, then gains an extra turn. It is also stealthy. So with the Hobgoblin, you get to choose which enemy to hit, at least with one of your shots. With Rogueling, it's random on both of them, but it does have a boost ratio. And then Hobgoblin has the 20% chance to dodge, while this is just stealthy. So it's just a slight downgrade to Hobgoblin, in my opinion. Uses purple instead of red. You could use both of these on a team. You know, mana generating weapon, goblin, you know, Hobgoblin, Rogueling, Leprechaun or something. I don't know. Phantom Fox was one we just couldn't get rid of. Like, it was like the annoying cousin or uncle or neighbor that just kept coming to the list and we couldn't get rid of it. So Phantom Fox made the list. It choose one, explode 52 purple gems, or mana burn the first 2 enemies. So it's usually just the first option there. But it has a 25% start, 25% spell reduction, and it's just in a category like Volpacchia, Cordofoxes, Wargare, Fey, 3 out of the 4 of those, it's hard to find mana generation. So it just, like, you'll use it. It's on the list because of how much you have to use it, because there's no other Volpacchia or Cordofoxes or Wargare mana generation, and it just gets used. So I figured, might as well put it on the bottom of the honorable mentions because of how much I use it, and it just feels like a gap in the game that, we need more mana generation for Volpacchia, Cordofoxes, Wargare, and it's like the only thing we got right now, so you're going to use it. So it's top 24 ultra rare. Alright, so that was my top 20 ultra rares in Gems of War as of end of September 2025, as decided on the chatathon yesterday, which was successful, very good day. We met our goal and we went above it slightly. Unfortunately, like, the month is way behind, so the chatathon did its thing and was fine and was like an A, but it really needed to be an A+, so I can't blame it on the chatathon, and the chatathon was amazing. It's like the rest of the month that was the problem. So we still got a couple days left, though. We got Monday and Tuesday. We really need to, keep it going. We can't just watch our home run from the chatathon. We hit a home run with the chatathon. We can't stand there and watch it sail out of the stadium. We're gonna have to run the bases and go right back up to the up to the plate. So let's do it, man. Monday, Tuesday, last 2 days. They gotta be solid. They can't be zeros. They can't be barely anything. Like, they gotta be solid, just normal, good live streams, and we'll be okay as long as they're, everybody comes and everybody does their thing. It should be okay. So let's get it. Let's get it. Need a couple people to come off the bench. A couple people to come out of the woodworks would be great. Special shout out though to, I don't want to say I start mentioning names, but Anita, Sauna, DC, Trey, Chad, JM Ricks, Worm Skull here and there, a bunch of people, and I'm gonna forget somebody if I keep going. Tyrion Shark and usual suspects are like Anita, Sauna, and Chad, but then we got big hitters coming out of the woodworks like DC and Worm Skull, and then like occasionals like Tyrion Shark and JM Ricks, and so hopefully we need some more of y'all. If you didn't hear your name, come out of the woodworks. Let's go. If you did hear your name, I love you. Appreciate you. Awesome job. But yeah, and I always forget. I'm gonna forget somebody's name like an idiot, and then they're never coming back. You know what I mean? But once again, number 1 was Leprechaun. Number 2 was Angry Mob. Number 3 was Egg Thief. Number 4 was Goblin Rocket. Number 5 was Spirit Fox. Number 6 was Herd Master. Number 7 was Onyx Gargoyle. Number 8 was Drake Rider. Number 9 was High Paladin. Number 10 was Satite Warrior. Number 11 was Sand Runner. Number 12 was Dragonian Monk. Number 13 was Satyr Musician. Number 14 was Night Cornet. Number 15 was Deep Huntsman. Number 16 was Moon Singer. Number 17 was Lasher. Number 18 was Katari Warrior. Number 19 was Drowned Sailor. And number 20 was Sunbird. Honorable mentions, once again, were Stone Viper, Hobgoblin, Rogueling, and Phantom Fox. So yeah, put your list in the comments, or put one that I forgot in the comments, or say, hey, why'd you have this at 15? It should have been number 5 in the comments. Like, whatever you want to do, I appreciate it. Because that one was hard, and I'm not going to, like, argue with you and disagree and call you a dummy, because that one was super hard, and you'll probably be right. Like, share, subscribe, consider joining. It helps a lot. Tell your good about the channel, comment below. And I'll see y'all next time. Next chatathon, we're going to do the rares. Probably going to be super hard. And then the next one after that, we'll do the commons. So, trying to finish this up by the end of the year, so we have top 20s for every rarity. And then we can go forward from there and maybe do some other stuff like top 20 underworld troops. I don't know. But yeah. See y'all. Have a good one. You're the best. Peace out.